All right, in this video, I want you to take a moment to imagine this so you can understand what the Roman Catholic Church has done and what it's trying to do. Now, imagine the United States government tried to do this. Since the United States government is based off of written documentation, the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, right? That's basically the foundation documents there. And that's the foundation of the government. Something written, something tangible, not oral tradition, right? Because if it was oral traditions that the government was based off of, it could make up whatever it wanted. It could say, oh, the founding fathers of the government, they said this and they taught that, they believed this, and they can make up whatever they want, and they could change the government willy-nilly as they saw fit as time went on, and it would just be chaos. You wouldn't have a solid foundation. This foundation would always be shifting as the oral tradition changed throughout time. But when you have a solid foundation of something written, such as the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights here as an example, you can always refer back to that and be like, this shows us who the government is, who the government isn't. It shows us the authority of the government and the lack of the authority of the government. But imagine if the government one day wanted to say, because of the division that we see when we want to bring unity, and we believe the division is caused by people trying to interpret the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and Bill of Rights on their own. It's causing division where people don't see it the same way. And because of this division, we decided that since we, the government, we gave you these documents, we get to decide that we are the only ones that can interpret it, and we will decide what it says and what it really means. And I would imagine if the government did that, you would say suck an egg, because you would understand that the government is just trying to grab power and authority. And it wants to be able to get you not to be able to keep them in check. Because right now, what do you do to keep the government in check? The law, Constitution, the Bill of Rights says this, this, and that, and it doesn't say this, this, and the other thing that you want it to say. So you don't have that power as the government. We have inalienable rights, which means these rights can't be taken from us. We can't even freely give them up. But if the government can get you to think that they can take them, well, then you would freely give them up, and it would take that authority and do what it wants, right? So you can understand that if you can't read and interpret the documents yourself, then you're at the whim of tyranny, right? Whatever the government decides, what it says, that's what it actually says. So even though it says you have the freedom of religion, they can say, well, what that really means is you have the freedom of the religion of the government. So if the government is Muslim, if it's Roman Catholic, if it's atheistic, if it's Buddhist, then you have the freedom to follow that, right? And that's what it means. And you would say, well, that's obviously not what it says, right? Freedom of religion, and as we have always practiced it, is that we can be whatever religion we want or no religion at all. We can even make up a religion, restart an old religion that's fallen away. We can combine religions. We can do whatever we want because we are free to do so, right? And hopefully you can see what I'm saying here, because this is exactly what the Roman Catholic Church has done and what it's still trying to do by telling people that the Bible is not the authority and that only they can properly interpret the Bible. You see, the Bible is like the founding documentation, the founding law of the church, just like we see with the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, Bill of Rights, the foundation for the American government. That's how the Bible is. It's the foundation document. And if the church is going against that, then they're breaking the law, right? They're showing that they're drifting away, that they're not the true church anymore. Just like the government, if it turns on the Constitution, it's not the actual government anymore. Because it's going against its own foundation. It's become something else, right? That's why the Constitution talks about defending against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Because you can have domestic enemies. And the Bible even warns about that there would be wolves in sheep's clothing, that the tares would be among the wheat, right? The enemy would be with among us, right? And with the Roman Catholic Church saying, "Oh, only we can interpret it," and we're going to say that because it's causing too much division, because you're all interpreting it in your own way, and it's causing all this division. So we're going to bring unity by taking away your freedom to actually interpret it yourself. And then you go against that. What do? They ended up killing the people off. And eventually they made it where you can't even have a Bible, at least not one in your own language. And then when they started to actually translate the Bible and bring the Bible out into the language people could speak, the Roman Catholic Church would start killing those people off again and burning the Bibles. But now they don't have that power and authority to do that anymore, so of course they're not doing it anymore. But if they ever had that power, they would obviously do that again, because they think they have some God-given right, being the only ones that can interpret the Scriptures. And not only that, they can go against what the Scriptures clearly say, as Jesus lived out what he taught about turn the other cheek, bless those that curse you, to love your enemies, as he died for us who are his enemies. As he told his disciples that wanted to rain fire down on a Samaritan village that rejected him, he said, "Hey, we want to kill these people? I came to save men's lives, not destroy them." Yet this group here, the Roman Catholic Church, goes against that with the Crusades and the Inquisitions and other things that they have done throughout history. They're obviously going against what is clearly said and taught by Jesus Christ, how he didn't fight back as they killed him, right? So they show that they're not actually that true church. They're not actually built upon the proper foundation, the founding documents of the church, the Bible. So if you can understand that if the United States government stopped following the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and they went away from that, that there would no longer be the United States government. It would be something else, right? It would be usurping the place of the United States government and taking control and being a tyrant. And that's exactly what the Roman Catholic Church has done. It's become something else, as it's no longer following the founding documents, and it's changed, and it's usurping the place of the true church, trying to claim that it is the true church and trying to claim this authority that it does not have, and trying to get you to submit to it. But just like the government needs to get you to accept their authority by giving up your rights freely, so does the Catholic Church. They have to get you to accept their authority, so they have to try to give you that bullshit and get you to eat it. Right? And you can easily be like, no, you don't have the authority. I accept the gospel. Jesus Christ saved me. I'm going to heaven. I'm not going to submit to you and all your religious rituals to enslave me for the rest of my life, just hoping I'm going to be saved when I know God already saved me. That's why he lived the life he did and died on the cross, was to save me. Not that hopefully I might be saved, but that I would be saved. And the government, like I said, would be doing the same thing, trying to get you to freely give up your freedom to them and accept them as the authority. And ultimately what you would be doing is putting the government and or the church as an idol, as God in your life, because you'd be submitting to them instead of God, instead of to your conscience. Right? So I hope you can see that and understand that. Thank you for watching, and take care.